Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. My name's Roz and I will be your hostess on this adventure. So we are all about empowering and encouraging women to be more here. More of who they are, who they're meant to be, who they want to be. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button down below and let's get started. So this video is all about conquering our fears. So what is fear? Basically, it's an unpleasant feeling caused by being aware of danger or by anticipating danger. Okay, let me say that again. By being aware of danger or by anticipating danger. So basically, there's two types of fear, rational and irrational. Today, we're only going to be talking about the irrational fears we all have. So irrational fear is fear of something even though we know it's not dangerous. Hence, irrational. Now, we have different behavior changes when we fear, when this feeling of fear comes upon us. So, basically, there's fight, flight, or freeze. The 3 Fs. So, and we've all experienced these in some way. You know, the fight, get all scrappy. Then there's flight, where you just run away, avoid, and freeze. Okay, deer in a headlight, anyone? We've all had them. Now, I just want to say, since I'm not a doctor, not now, nor have I ever been, I just want to say this video is not meant to treat anyone, not meant to treat any illnesses. It's just to show how I deal with the irrational fears, and it's also to help motivate, encourage others to recognize, to research, so they can deal with their fears. Okay, so let's talk about these irrational fears we have. They can rear their ugly head in any and every aspect of our lives. They can affect us anytime, anywhere. They can affect us personally, professionally, mentally. There are just too many irrational fears to mention here, but I'm going to talk about a few of them. A few common ones that may stop us from accomplishing our goals and even halting our success. These are ones that most of us have heard of, if not experienced. So there's fear of failure, fear of public speaking, fear of change, fear of more responsibility, fear of taking risks, and even fear of succeeding, fear of success. My personal fears? Okay, public speaking is a big one. Fear of change, it's another one I have issues with. And then one for me is going to new places unaware. Okay, so like for public speaking, this is a fear of mine. I continuously somehow put myself right out there. I don't know how it works. Change, I don't like new things. I don't like change. When I'm established in something, I don't like someone to change this on me. And going to new places unaware, pretty much, if I have someplace to go that I've never been, an appointment somewhere, I'll either go days before, the day before, to find the place and get a lay of the land, or I'll go very early. And so I'm always sitting around waiting. But it's because of the fear of going someplace new. So let's talk about conquering our irrational fears so we can be more, so we can accomplish the goals that lead to our success. So basically, here's a few ways that I handle my irrational fears. Exposure, confronting that fear over and over again. Because you know what, over time, you tend to start suppressing the fear. It loses its power over you. Take public speaking again. I hate doing it. I don't know many people who enjoy it, but it scares me. My body does the reaction, you know, the sweating, the shaking inside. Not nausea, thank goodness, but I have physical symptoms of this fear. But you know what I do? And you know, it's not a conscious decision, really, but I seem to put myself out there to public speak all the time. But it is exposure. I've done, at college, I've done plays. Shakespeare of all things. What was I thinking? But I did a few of them. I always seem to be standing in a crowd speaking. Okay, and yes, after a while it does suppress, your fear does go down. But the second way to conquer our fears helps by being prepared. The better prepared you are, the less space that's left there for fear. Like the public speaking. When you're speaking in public, be prepared for most any contingency that you can think of. People's questions. These seem to trip us up most. My fear of new places, I go ahead of time. That way, that fear doesn't have any room there. Next one, write it down. We seem to write down our problems because you know what? It's therapeutic. Our fears are no different because seeing the fear makes it real, but it also makes it more manageable because when you can see the problem, you can find the solution. When you see the fear, you can manage it. Okay, possible outcomes. Examine your fear. Why do you fear? So write down what you fear and all the possible outcomes of it. So then you can see, okay, I have this fear. Why do I have this fear? Here they are. Well, how can I make sure they don't come to be? You know, which ones are more probable to happen? Examine each possible outcome that you write down. Figure out which ones are more probable to happen and deal with them. What can you do to make these not happen? Okay, pros and cons. How many of us write down pros and cons of things? Okay, so do it. What are you missing because of the fear? And or what might you miss? What opportunities are passing you by? Okay, those would be your cons. What are you missing? What are the pros of this fear? Are there any pros to this fear? Pro, not having to be up in front of people? Okay, that doesn't count. Okay, then there's perfection. You know what? No one is perfect, no matter what they may say or you might think. You're going to make mistakes. But you know what? We all make mistakes. Look at your successes instead. You know, learn from your mistakes and from your successes. You can't have one without the other. That's improbable. It's very improbable. But if you make a mistake, learn from it. Write it down. You won't do it again. We usually fear things because we think that these threats are either out of our control or they're unavoidable. Okay. Take control. Take control. Take away the fear's ability to threaten you. That's what conquering your fear is. Taking control and taking its ability away to threaten. When we step outside of our comfort zone, fear can materialize in an instant. Okay, you know what? But I've actually noticed that when I step outside of my comfort zone, more opportunities seem to present themselves, even unforeseen ones that I didn't even think could happen, usually happen. Because you know what? We're out there, we're putting ourselves out there, and you just don't know what's going to happen, good or bad. By challenging ourselves, we continuously push our boundaries, and we free ourselves from the fears and limitations that hold us back. In 1951, David Thoreau wrote, "Nothing is so much to be feared as fear." And it's as true today as it was in 1851. Fear can immobilize us. It can challenge us, but it can also motivate us. So what will you allow or disallow fear to do to you? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And remember, never stop striving forward.